Hey guys, so sorry. I'm sorry. I, you know how it goes. I can do a 13-hour stream and there's not one issue, and then I do a 15-minute one and it crashes 17 times within that 15 minutes. So I don't. At this point, I've been streaming for like 6 years, and it's like it just happens, and it could very well happen again. And to be honest, like, if we disconnect again, let me just call it, because like I can't keep. It takes the wind out of my sails, you know. Like I was on about something, I was talking about something, I had a good point, and then it just like crashes, like I can't recover. But yeah. So you're back. Really loving the teacup. Thank you so much. Love you. Third time's the charm, right? Yeah. I mean, hopefully that is the case. Most furiously attempting to restore the wind in yourself. I sailed. It's sailing. It should say 5100 kilobytes per second, and it's saying that. So anyone hopping back in, I'm so sorry. It crashed for the second time, which isn't unheard of, because if I had like a spreadsheet of all the times it's crashed, there's been days like this where I just like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the internet company, they're not letting me stream. Anyway, sorry for anyone that was watching and enjoying the last rant. I don't even remember what I was talking about. It's probably something along the lines of the way you should draw or something. But anyway, here we are. Now, if you were to look up exact references of this Disney castle and judge me for my exactness, it's not going to be accurate. You're going to find a lot of things that don't match. And that's kind of the goal, I think, when it comes to my quest of my style, is I want to do just enough so that when you look at it, you just say that's the Disney castle. I want to stylize the Disney castle, you know? To be honest, those tutorials of how to do anime girls or anything like that never helped me, because every time I try to follow the tutorial, it never helps. So, yeah. That's what I was talking about, wasn't it? Thank you, Imaginary Land, and thank you for hopping back in. So, hopefully if I don't get just cut off by a random crash. The thing about those tutorials is they teach you how to draw that anime girl in that specific position, in that specific way, with that specific color theme, and that's it. And I think it's a good place to get started. So I know that sounds contradictory, so let me explain. So I think that's a good place to get started, because like, you need something simple to kind of get you in the game that's like, okay, it ain't so bad to draw. And then once you get past that, then you need to kind of like take 10 steps back and be like, now I need to learn the basics. Like, I think people skip over the basics too much. I skipped over the basics too, and still have, and I still be like, make sure I slap myself on the wrist for that. So like, I would start, as painful as it is, learning actual human anatomy, because an anime style is based off of actual human anatomy being stretched towards that style. So there's sort of like a baseline for everything, right? So like, the way I like to paint is somewhat realistic but somewhat interpretive, kind of like a 50-50 blend. I need to know exactly what real life looks like first, and then once I know what that looks like first, I can then break the rules. But that doesn't go to say that like, skipping to step 10 with a simple tutorial video isn't good for you to see that like once you understand something, you can actually do art. You know, I think what those tutorials are good for are like to get someone past the like I don't have talent and I can't draw point. And then like once you convince someone that they like can draw, then it's like, all right, are you ready to like get good at it? And like it's not for everyone, you know? Like I think it's worth saying that it's not for everyone to like commit their lives to scratching a 2D surface until the point where they can finally make realistic images on it. Like there's a whole life consequence that comes with that. And like the wrong mindset, I think, is like I want to be a professional artist and be a master artist, but I also don't want it to affect my life. Because like if you make the decision I want to be a master artist, it will become you, it will take over your life, and you will have to involve it in your life in a way that gives you that time. Like maybe there's people out there that are born drawing realistic shit right off the bat. There's some anomalies out there. King Jung-ji is that girl that's been painting realistic baby pictures since she was 14. There's a lot of examples out there. But in none of those people's equations do I think that time was missing. I think that in those individuals, interest was so immense that they could not resist spending all of their time on it, while people were spending their time on other things. And ultimately there's a sacrifice of time that comes with getting good at it. And I think the most time should be spent in the basics. Learn the basic shapes, learn the basic anatomy of humans, and then go to anime and learn how to stretch them. And I hope that makes sense. I am more interested in the environment. I am not yet a strength in figures and that goes to say like out of my mind naturally. I can draw environments out of my mind naturally, and less so figures and humans. But it's worth knowing how to wield the tools enough to study a photograph, because then you can get yourself work. It's like I know I can copy a photograph almost exactly if I put the time in. But drawing something out of your head naturally and having kind of a feel for it, that's a whole nother type of like discipline and path to go down to get to that result. And I think someone can be born with talent and get really good at sort of copying something or sort of mimicking something, but a true mastery to where you can draw anything of the universe in any color mood, any camera angle, with any story. Like that's the true mastery to me. And you can embark on that in any sort of medium you want. You can do that with oil, you can do that with pen and ink, you can do that with any medium you want. But like ultimately I think that's the lifelong journey. Is like mastering, like if you truly want to be able to draw anything, that's what takes the longest. Because you have to strengthen your visual library, at the same time understanding the basic shapes of the universe, like cylinders, cones, spheres, cubes, lines, putting them in perspective, color theory, you know? So like, and then like once you get all those basics done, then it's like up to you to decide, like, what do you want to draw? Do you want to draw everything? Do you want to be a Kim Jung-ji? If you want to be a Kim Jung-ji, then you have to master every discipline. You're gonna have to spend a lot of hours in human anatomy, you're gonna have to spend a lot of hours in perspective, you're gonna have to, and the thing is, like, when you look through Kim Jung-ji's art, he doesn't put a lot of hours into color. Like, color is one of those things he didn't do as much of. He was way more of a master of the ability of perspective, line work, human anatomy, and interpretation. And it's like, color is something people can spend their entire, like, you can pick one category of art and spend your entire life on it. So to master, I don't know how many categories there are. I don't have like a set amount, but you can spend your whole life on one. Just lines. Like, there's people that just like drawing lines. There's so many artists out there that just love just doing pen and ink, and they won't touch a brush in their life. And a great example of that is Paul Houston. I'm not saying he won't touch a brush, he has. But when you look at his pie chart, like, what does he do the most? He is a pen and ink line artist. He is obsessed with the science of the line, and you can see it in his work. It's brilliant. It's genius stuff. A lot of my 5-point perspective fisheyes are heavily inspired by him. And it's okay, like, admit that, like, people are better than you. And be inspired by them and strive to be as good as them. But I think if Paul Houston was in this stream, he would agree that he's more fascinated with the line and perspective disciplines than he is with the color. And it's the way he does that that's brilliant. Personally, what has touched me in the heart the most is like high level video game art. I've been playing video games since I was 6 years old. And every time I saw one of those highly rendered loading screens of like the area you were loading into, that shit inspired me so much. Like, so that's where my inspiration is. So like, in order to do that, I have to learn this set amount of disciplines, you know? I need to learn landscapes, I need to learn perspective, I need to learn color. You know, luckily, you know, what I love the most doesn't require as many humans and as many figures. But it's one of those things I want to incorporate. It's just not the majority of my pie chart. I choose American cartoony art style because they're much more easier for me when it comes to perspective. And there you go. And I don't think how easy it is or how hard it is should be your gauge to whether you choose what you love or not. Because the thing is, the funny part about high art and fine art is each category of it is equally as hard as to master as the other. So a lot of people will be like, oh, like jazz is way more complicated as blues. But the thing is jazz is just a mastery of a different area of music than blues is. Blues is a mastery of feel and emotion. And jazz is a mastery of harmony and the notes you pick. And so it's like, which one do you want to master? You know what I mean? So like the masters of cartoons, they draw cartoons so good, so accurately, so simply, and so communicatively that it blows my mind. Like when I see one of those like perfectly drawn comics, I can't do that. Like what I understand is like atmosphere and color and diffuse light, and people have spent the majority of their lives figuring out how to simplify. Like the thing is like the cartoonism or whatever you want to call it, that's the mastery of simplifying things. So think of it that way. Like it's not that it's simple because you're not drawing them realistic, so that it's lesser. It's that the skill it takes to simplify life down to a readable cartoon format is so hard. Like, trust me on that one. Like, debatably, hyperrealism is easier than cartoons because you have to understand more about what you're drawing to simplify it than you do to have to draw it literally. Does that make sense? Because anyone can start trying to draw something literally, but to simplify it, you have to like be able to hold it in your hand and be like, this is the basic elements of it, and I know how it looks, so I can leave out the rest. Like, so depending on the lens you look through, cartoons are a higher art than realism, depending on the lens. So that's the funny part about art. It's like, that's why all genres of music are equal. So like you can be the highest, most savant pop producer, right? And you can just create hit after hit after hit. But you can be the highest, most savant jazz musician that is nailing the most complex chord changes known to humankind, and only the top jazz analysts could ever understand what you're doing. But it's just as high as a form of art as the best pop song, because it takes that level of analyzation and that level of dedication to understand each category that much to create that product. So it's like people can get really stuck in comparing all types of art to all other types of art, when it's more about like focusing on one that makes you feel the most. Because ultimately you can find all the masteries through all of them. Like cartoon requires understanding of shading, color, line work, composition, camera angle, medium, whatever you want to draw it in. Same as hyperrealism. It's just like you're switching the emphasis on like what gives the punch, you know? Is it a funny readable comic, or is it a moody hyper-realistic painting that makes you feel nostalgic about the death of your dad? You know what I mean? So it's like, it depends on where the emphasis is. Metal is the best stuff. It metal is fucking amazing. What's up, Oz? Good to see you here. But like, and you know, generalizing as much as I did in the last 10 minutes comes with the danger of like, yeah, well, what about this specific situation? What about this specific situation? I understand that, but like, overall, in my opinion, because of the amount of understanding it takes to like wield each of those genres at a master level, they're equal. Because it comes out in the wash. So it's like super high level jazz musicians and classical musicians have such high level knowledge of notes and harmony, and not to say that pop musicians don't, they just tend to more because of just what the job requirements are and stuff. So like, but like producers of pop music, you need to know equal level heights of like technology, that, you know, what programs they're using these days, like mastering, making things sound awesome on every single speaker. Like, I challenge you to try that. Try it. Go record a song in your room, right? And make it sound good on every single fucking speaker system in your house. Like, guaranteed you won't. Guaranteed it'll sound good in your car, the earbuds, and the second you listen to it on your phone, it'll sound like shit. Like, that's one thing I can't understand about mastering, is they make it sound just as good on your phone as it does in your car. Like, that's a skill level. That's something that's some like Freemason secret knowledge shit. Like, let me tell you. Okay, makes sense. I realize that every art style is different and not all of them will be the same. Yeah, and like the amount of things you have to study to become a master of each style comes out in the wash. It's the same amount, is what I'm saying. So like, to become an amazing pop producer, you have to know so much more than just how to play and make a good song, right? Because pop music, it's not complicated music. It can be, there's exceptions again, but most, like, if you're generalizing just quickly, pop music is not super complicated compared to some like songs that people don't even understand, because you have to have a degree in music to even like appreciate what the hell they're doing. So it's like, it just depends on where your emphasis is, and just like stop comparing what you love in art to other categories of art, because then it'll make you feel like shit, and then you won't want to draw, and you'll think that your form of art is lesser. Just remember that like whatever category of art you pick requires just as high a level of analyzation of the disciplines it needs for that level of art. Like animation, that's a whole nother fucking thing. Like, forget it. Animators are the best like illustrators in the world, in my opinion, because they have to know how to draw the same character exactly the same 100,000 times a day. Like, try to draw the same SpongeBob in 17 different angles. It's the hardest. It's one of the it's not the hardest, but one of the hardest disciplines in the world. Animation, man. Seriously. I know I've been ranting and raving, but it's like, I just need you to know that, because I've fallen down the pitfall of like hating on what I decide that I love in art just because I think it's like a lesser or, you know, easier, you know, because everyone puts the human figure at the top. Like, oh, that's the hardest thing to draw, right? But it's like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone that only does character art. They're just like, yo man, like, I'm all about portraits and figures, but I just can't. I don't know how y'all paint landscapes. Like, I can't wait to try landscapes. And I've seen both sides say the same thing. I've seen landscapes artists be like, I need to draw figures, I need to get better, and then the other way around. So it goes both ways. The grass is always greener. I think ideally, like, before I die, I want to have most of the like, personally, if I had, like, I'm trying to think, like, if I had to put a thesis to my art style preference, it would be like, I want to be able to draw and capture whatever I'm seeing in my head, right? So like, whatever it takes for that. So like, if I picture some idea someday where I'm like, it requires the most like detailed, ripped, like jack dude with every single muscle defined, then like, I'm gonna have to go through that work to depict that. And I think that's, in my opinion, if I was teaching a class of artists, I would say that's where you should start. Fuck everything else. Fuck like, this art's higher than this art. Like, I need to learn this, that, tutorials. Like, start at, what do I want to draw? What do I see in my head? And then branch out from there. Be like, what? Okay, I want a Greek goddess with a lightsaber holding an infant, slicing a dragon in half with 1,000 motherships. Then right there, you've just immediately gave yourself a lesson plan of exactly what you need to know how to draw, and exactly disciplines. So right away, you want a human, you gotta go start learning some anatomy. You know, you want motherships, you gotta start learning some perspective. You gotta start studying some mechs, some robots. Go look at Star Wars, draw some shit from Star Wars. Like starting there, it's like you immediately like write your like lesson plan without even trying. So just like, have what you really want to see, and then just like be honest with yourself with what you have to learn. Like if I could go back and yell at my younger artist self, I would say, like, stop being so stubborn. Just stop. Like, just learn what you have to learn, even though it's hard, because like it's gonna be rewarding that day you finally push through and you can finally draw it, and you're not all sad about it like being the first time. I hope even a smither of all that made sense. Like I'm telling you, I used to have this false belief that I could just draw everything from my head without studying it from real life. Like, how insane is that, right? So I just don't get why adult female characters most of the time has breasts when it comes to anatomy. Sometimes I just don't get why adult female characters most of the time has breasts. Did you mean to say breasts? Is that like, was that a typo? Well, I mean, I'm not sure how to answer that question. I mean, if I was to answer it in its simplest form, I would say it's one of the recognizable features that's worth learning how to draw. But like, the unfortunate part about the anime world is that, like, it's not unfortunate. I don't mean unfortunate at all. A result of the anime world, for some reason, is that like, it's very sexualized. So like a lot of people are trying to draw these like really attractive anime women. So I think it's just a result of that happening too much to where there's a lot of emphasis on the breasts, but like I don't think that like that is a requirement personally to like a good anime character. And again, like there's so like I have an anatomy book that like teaches me how to draw breasts properly, and I refer to it all the time. And it's like once you learn how to draw them, like they have rules and they have ways that you can draw them good, and it's like I think once you figure out how to draw them accurately, you can draw them however you want and they'll be convincing. And besides that, there's just this weird like hypersexualized side to anime that everyone's hyper obsessed with drawing, which is like the hyper skinny waist and giant hips and big breasts and you know, I mean, I think it's just like one of those things that's like I'm not surprised. It's like the not suitable for work side of art always. Like I don't think we'll ever get rid of that. But like I don't think that means that like it's not anime unless they have like big breasts. Is my point. Like honestly, the breasts they draw in anime are like laughable. like fucking, you know, like double Q's on like a skin. It like doesn't exist. So it's like they're just astronomically stretching a part of the body, and so it's just like enjoy whatever you enjoy about drawing that the female figure. Like the female figure is so vast in the amount of variations it can be drawn in. I don't think it should only be depicted in a like Kardashian anime standard or whatever. Go draw every version of the woman's body that, and then, you know, decide for yourself when you get through. It's, in my opinion, absolutely not a rule. I'm gonna zoom into one of these lampposts here. So they're brown tan already, and we have a nuke going off in the background, so I'm gonna make it more of a burnt umber category. Go a little bit thinner with the brush. You gotta think, this Walt Disney statue. Hopefully it's been smooth, guys. Again, I'm sorry for the last 2 crashes. It sucks that that happened. Do not expect you to wait around after that. The more and more I paint, it's like, the more I'm like, it doesn't matter. In the sense of like a lot of things. And I guess the one thing I'm thinking of right now is... So, asterisks, depending on the medium. But there's an obsession over like, do you start from dark or do you start from light? Which way do you work? Highly medium dependent. But in a medium in which it doesn't matter, like acrylic or gouache or digital, just work from whatever you feel like. If you want to start at a mid-tone, it'll help you out in the sense you can get a good mid-ground and then find the highlight in the dark. You want to start from the dark, it's fine. You want to start from the light, it's fine. I think it's worth exploring all three. And the best I got for you so far is because just certain things in the universe, when you draw them, some things favor being drawn from light to dark. Some things favor being drawn from mid-tone in either direction, and then some favor being drawn from dark to light. Like trees, for example, if you have the sun shining on the back of a group of trees and the trees are dark, on the back side of that, like, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, you can start from dark, you can start from light. So, but in my opinion, it favors starting from light because you have those bright leaves in the front, mid-tone leaves in the middle of the tree, and then dark leaves on the back. And if you were someone that was like, I only work from dark to light purist, then you'd find yourself doing more work working from dark to light in that situation. So I think it's good to have that flexibility. So, because I'm in the digital world here, I'm not going to neglect my digital luxuries. And I'm going to render a light post here and copy and paste it. Hey, think of it this way, right? These were made in a factory. They made a model, an exact cast of this lamppost, and then they copied it, right? So why is it that I'm less moral or less ethical for doing the same thing in a drawing format, right? There's another one you can use for yourself if you're feeling guilty about copy and pasting in a digital format. Because I think it's like, hey, you know, let's invent digital painting for the world so we can make these 10 things easier. Oh, but no, let's go use it as an artist now and then feel guilty about using those tools. Right? Isn't that silly? So, like, if you're gonna use a digital tool, you might as well embrace the conveniences that it offers and just stop with the whole, like, oh, like, whatever. Like, the reason I mentioned one layer is not because it's some, like, oh, like, I don't use multiple layers to make it easier. It's literally because it's the method I found the closest that feels to, like, painting on an actual canvas. Like, I like that experience of, like, putting paint on the canvas and then it mixing, and then, like, so when I start separating into everything into different layers, it all starts, like, not mixing naturally, and, like, I require that, like, natural experience through a painting for my joy. So, like, my point is just use the digital tools. Like, if you're using a digital tool, use it. You know, and again, exceptions for everything. You know, like, you can take digital to a point where you're not drawing anything, right? And then it's just the argument of, well, is it art or not? But if we're talking, like, are you hand drawing it or not? Like, don't get caught up on the fact that you, like, you know, are using the undo button. Like, seriously, just, like, remove that guilt from your life. It's not worth it. It may sound silly and insignificant, but you'll literally find, like, an argument on, like, Reddit about shit like this. It's just not worth. It's not worth your misery. Like, here's another analogy for you. Here's another analogy. Using a digital program to create an art piece and then not using the advantages of the tools is like buying a Ferrari and never going over 30 miles an hour. Think about that for a second. What's the point of a Ferrari existing with all its power if you're not going to use 40 to 180 at least once in the duration of owning the Ferrari? So that's like the same thing. It's like there's no point in beating yourself up. And oh, it's illegal to speed argument doesn't work, because then why do they make cars, every single car, go above the speed limit by like 70 miles per hour? It's you have it. It's one of those things that's there. You know, you gotta get past that Mack truck that cut you off suddenly. You know, you have that power. You can go 20 miles an hour faster in half a second with a Ferrari. That could save your ass in a situation, right? Think about a digital tool like that. It's just easy to get caught up on abstract concepts over guilt. Where it's like, oh, well, like, there's some invisible societal standard that I'm making up in my own head that, like, it's only good art if you drew it out of your mind freehand and didn't copy it from anything and did it out of your head with talent the second you were born. And it's like, no. It's so much more complicated than that.
I think it's just the redefining of art. Though, because, like, yeah, people could say that, like, 10, 15 years ago. At this point, it's like, no, it's just another tool to be like arguing that, like, oh, well, watercolor art isn't art because it's not oil.
Right. All right. So Kirsten made a great example. Watercolor art isn't art because it's oil. Isn't oil. Because like, oh, like, well, you know, I don't have to do an extra 15 minutes of blending work because I just put two colors next to each other and they blend together.
Yeah.
Like, again, what do you want the picture to look like? Did you get it to look like it? If you did, it doesn't matter how you got there. Unless you're harming other humans or stealing someone else's artwork directly.
Yes.
So literally, if you use food coloring and motor oil, particularly 5W30, and you only paint in motor oil on random asphalt parking lots, and you achieve the same rendering result as an oil painter, it's the same level of art. That's what I'm trying to say. How you get there doesn't matter unless you're harming someone else or stealing something directly and you're not admitting to it or giving the credit. And you know, that kind of cycles back to, like, you know, I'm tired of people, you know, calling us art stealers when we're tracing. It's like, again, are you drawing something literally exactly and then saying it's yours, or are you learning from it and making it your own? And I think that's the fair use argument, right? Like, again, it's pretty obvious to me, if you are intellectually honest, if something was copied or not. Because I don't truly think if anyone was in a controlled scientific study and they were forced to draw the master artwork that they were studying and tried to copy it, it would never be exactly the same as the master who did it to begin with. Ever. Down to the brushstroke. Unless you were literally copying it, like through AI or like on a photo imaging program, and you literally printed it out. You're never gonna be able to do it exactly as that person. Like, sure, you could spend 250 hours on every pixel of that painting, making it look exact. But at the end of the day, through you doing that, someone would see that you copied someone else. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, through you trying that hard to copy it is what will make it look copied. And it's like, just like, give up that fight right away. It's like, there's no use in trying to be like someone else. You can't anyway. So, like, it's an argument with a built-in fallacy. It's like, oh, like, you're copying when you literally can't if you tried. So, learn from the masters what the basics underneath their art, the invisible things that are going on that makes their stuff look so good. But you know, like I said, it doesn't exclude the anime tutorials. Like, again, I feel like those things are designed for entry-level people that are scared of drawing because they have this concept in their head that they weren't born with the drawing gene, And so like tutorials like that are meant to like break the fear. Like, oh look, I can do it. You know, that's like what paint by numbers are. It's like, oh look, I can grab a paintbrush and follow directions. And there's so much of that in art, to where if you just grab the paintbrush and follow the directions, you'll get really fucking far. You'll get tremendously far. There's so, and like a lot of people like skip the existence of directions, and they go like, oh, I don't have talent. Like there's no way I can get there because I don't have talent. It's like, no, there's a lot of things you can learn. And there's tons of techniques, and there's tons of things that are known that produce 100% results. And then like once you get all that done, once you decide like I want to be an artist for my life because that's how many hours that shit takes to get done, then you get to the point of like, okay, this is what I'm picturing in my head. How do I want to get there? Personally, I have enjoyed acrylic, watercolor, gouache, and digital the last 7 years of my life. And nothing has pulled me beyond that, like remotely. Like I am probably going to die on acrylic, gouache, watercolor, and digital. And that's how like powerful they feel to me. And I think maybe another thing that's worth saying is people that are still feeling lost, like maybe you just haven't found your medium. And I would encourage you to try them all. Try charcoal, try pastel, try acrylics, try oil, try watercolor, try pottery, tie-dye, whatever. It's something different, because like I drew black and white charcoal, pen and ink for 15 years, and then I tried painting, and I was like, I haven't even touched charcoal and pencil since. So like you never know what you're gonna fall in love with, and like sometimes that's like the path you need to like fall in love with how you make things look the way they look. So you have to like fall in love with like how you're making what your idea. You have to fall in love with how you bring your idea to life, and that's what keeps you hooked. It's not like, oh my god, no one uses oil anymore, like I'm so outdated, or like, no, like everyone's doing anime with big tits, like oh my god, like I need to draw big-breasted anime girls. No. If you draw a big-breasted anime girl and that makes you feel everything in the world, then like that's what you need to be doing, and you need to be like studying how to draw breasts and like get on that human anatomy and like draw the most perfect, most attractive breasts that anyone has ever seen, and like if that's what makes you feel good, then do that. But like I have never been drawn there, so like, you know, I can draw the most realistic landscape in the world, right? But if I can't draw the perfect pair of like anime breasts, does that make me a bad artist? No, it doesn't. You know, so it's like just be aware of like how we can abstract ourselves into the different categories like that, and how they don't matter. You know, it takes the same level of producer as jazz musician to have the genres exist. It's like the jazz musicians don't know how to master a song. You know, pop producers do. It's just it's like, where's the emphasis on how you get there? As cheating, that is because my fear is the people calling printing and using a light box cheating, since I have a light box and a printer at home. So let me ask you this: are you adding anything to your paintings at all? Because like if you're taking a light box, okay, so like here's where I would consider it cheating, or not even the right word, copying, right? You take a light box, you literally trace it exactly as it is, same exact colors, you upload it, and then you go, this was my idea and I thought of this, okay, without zero effort in alteration, zero effort in adding anything new, zero effort in adding a new story. Take the same exact scenario and put it under the lens of I'm learning. So what I'm trying to say is the part where you publish it and go, this is mine, is the crucial part, in my opinion. If at the point in which you go, this is by me, I think there should have been some sort of fair use alteration there. But I don't think there's anything wrong with uploading your learning process, and during that learning process admitting to like, hey, like, you know, I'm copying this art because it's fan art, or like because it's fan art. Fan art is huge. Like, there's people that dedicate their entire lives to just drawing Pokemon, even though they're not hired by Pokemon themselves, and they're not, you know, it's like, it's one of those things where, like, and they become masters at drawing Pokemon, and it's like, but that's because that's what makes them feel good. They love that process of that look. And, like, the thing is, like, when someone's doing that good of a job, the world doesn't shun them. They go, holy crap, you're so good at drawing Pokemon, right? Like, and, you know, that's why fair use gets taken to court. It's a very gray area to where, like, you know, how much money should the person who made the original Pokemon versus, like, the person who can draw it just as good. That's a fair use argument. You know, that's something that needs to be decided in court, and we're treading into the territory of, like, we need to look at each scenario as its own. So, you know, I don't think you know, if you want to get to the bottom of it, I don't think there's a generalization for, like, how much you can copy something. I think there is, like, a protocol, which is like, okay, everyone's blaming me for copying something, let's look at what they did. And then I think any person that's done the work to understand the world of art and what it takes to be a good artist could look at that. You could have a council of those people that look at that situation and go, I think pretty quickly, and go, like, this was copied or this wasn't. And, you know, I think that takes a level of intellectual honesty, and again, that's why these things are battled in court, because they can get complicated. However, like, when it comes to learning, it's not cheating. Like, you have to study the world. What?
You're talking about, like, copying or, like, tracing.
Yeah.
As far as,
Yeah.
how would you say that pertains to, like, muralists?
In what?
Because a lot of people that do murals will use a reference picture or whatever, and they'll literally, like, cast it on the wall, and that's how they do their art, is based off that, if that makes sense. So if somebody's like, I want a mural of a tiger, and they would pull up a picture of a tiger and use, like, a light they'd cast on the wall, and that's how they do their art.
Then I think,
how does that make you feel?
like, all right, I want Aladdin. I want the title of Aladdin on my side of my building, right? Is that kind of the example you mean?
But it could be anything. It could be literally like an art piece,
Like someone else's art piece copied onto a building wall.
Sure, or if they're like, I just want a picture of whatever, and they find, like, they rip something off Google, and they're like, here's a really adorable picture,
So,
like a skull with flowers around it.
So in that case, I think the artist should be appreciated for their ability to copy that image, but not in the creation of it. So I think you can shift where the emphasis is on credit. You know what I mean? So it's like, it happens in jazz all the time. There's something called the real book in jazz, and it's literally like 350 pages, and there's like 7 different volumes, and it's all these old standards that have been played over the last 100 years that basically they're copyright free. They're skeletons of whatever you want to do on top of them. And the thing is like, a jazz musician you can be a world-renowned jazz musician for how you played your version of like All of Me, for example. You can be the band that did All of Me just so good it was almost better than the original guy. And like, when that happens, I don't think the credit I think it's just like a societal admittance to, like, hey, we need to all hold hands and say, like, obviously he doesn't have the credit to writing the song, but he has credit to having the musicianship to, like, make that version of it, right? So, like, and to answer your question, I don't think he deserves credit in, like, the lion concept, but he deserves credit in his skill level.
Execution.
Because, like, hand anyone else those spray paint cans, right? I couldn't put that lion on that building, but, you know, so it's like, what's more impressive to you, the fact that he thought of the lion, or the fact that, like, he was able to copy the lion on the thing?
Beauty in the design, or beauty in the execution.
Right, and I think
They
both.
get execution points.
And I think both belong in the universe. So
I agree.
I hope that was a good answer.
I was just curious because I know, like, personally, I met a muralist at the old school that I worked at, because she did, like, a mural at the school.
Right.
I've followed her on social media since. I remember seeing her post a while back about how she was annoyed of being told that she wasn't a real artist. Her
Yeah.
parents because what she does is project something in paint, but her step's
Yeah.
beautiful.
See, the thing is that most people, and this is gonna sound like a call out, and I'm sorry if anyone gets angry. Some people probably get mad at this, but like most people that don't understand something tend to generalize it in that way. And so like it's kind of like being like, oh, you know, it must be easy being a plumber. You learn how to grab a couple pipes, learn the glue you got to put on it, and you know, do a couple measurements.
God, I get that all the time as
You
a
know-
kindergarten teacher.
Exactly. So, and then once you dive into it, once you delve into the practice and the skill, you realize how much more multi-layered it is, how much more nuanced and fine it is. You know, hence the word fine art. I think the word fine becomes art because like anyone can, you know, put a smiley face in the grass and say that's art. But then when you put the word fine before it, it's like it's a whole nother meaning. Now you're talking. This guy spent 45 years putting smiley faces in grasses, and now you have Andy Goldsworthy. And if you haven't seen Andy Goldsworthy's art, by all means, bless your eyes with that because it's like some of the craziest shit that ever happened in the human race. But like, yeah, like it's about, I would say, the ability of the person's hands, you know, like the concept should be left for the person who thought of it, and anyone else who copies it after that should be appreciated for their ability to, because it's not easy. It's a skill to copy real life in general, and if you get good enough to the point where you can draw Bugs Bunny exactly the same as the first person who drew Bugs Bunny, then like props to you, because I can't. I can draw realistic landscapes, but I can't draw Bugs Bunny in 17 different positions exactly the same way every time. And it's a totally different universe. But anyway, I hope that was a satisfying answer. I have to pee my brains out, so I'm gonna be right back. I've been dancing in my chair. Hope you enjoy this time lapse. See you in a second. Thank you. Sometimes you get the pee dance. You gotta take care of it, you know? But yeah, don't worry about copying shit. That's the moral of the story. You have to. There's no science that says you come out the womb with a complete visual library. So, copy away and interpret. I would say this might be a hairy statement. The more you interpret, the more you'll probably be appreciated for making it your own version. But it doesn't discredit anything else. Ultimately, you can't, in my opinion, avoid interpreting at all. It's hard, no matter what. So.
And you also can't help but copy, because everything that you draw is probably based on something you've seen.
Exactly.
So at least you're copying what you've seen. Everyone's a copier.
Yeah, and imagine, like, the equivalent would be like, oh, what? Like, you didn't invent your own language to talk? You just copied the English language? Like, you know, of course you need to copy what's already been invented that works good. Like, there was a time for people to figure out perspective and go through those troubles for you. You don't live in those times anymore. You know? You can look it all up. Here's a little perspective mistake I made. You should be curving down. I know that looks lit. Little DACA. It ends up being more enjoyable to just shoot the shit with y'all. Very easy to get distracted. Why do you say distracted in Spanish?
I know you're not listening.
Nope. Kate. I'm just kidding. So there's these little lampies that are just way too fancy. I'll tell you one thing you get. One thing you get in your eye. Or I should say one thing. One thing that being an artist provokes into your eye all the time is, like, you look at literally anything and you're like, who the fuck made that? Who sat there, sketched that on a piece of paper, got it to the point of a model, a mold, a patent, put it into the factory, got it manufactured in mass production, and then, yeah, just like, I would love to see the GoPro camera angle on that. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't think about that shit all the time.
I had the pleasure of taking a field trip to Stanley Bostitch when I was in high school. And believe it or not, I was the last class that was able to do it. They stopped doing the field trip, which thank you so much. Which tended to be a trend when I was in grade school. So like, I don't know if like my generation was like the slow dying out of cool things, but I don't know if like every generation feels that way, because as you age you become more irrelevant and things make less sense to the people that are younger than you, and it's just a natural effect. However, there was a lot of things, like, so when I was in elementary school, all the students used to take a bike ride every year, and they stopped it because one day like someone got hit by a car. And it's like, you know, they did that for like 20 years, and I just happened to be the class that they stop doing it on. And like that was like a trend of my life. And so the same thing with this Stanley Bostitch field trip. It was like the last class that ever did it. However, it was really cool to watch the amount of thought that goes into everything we use every day. You know, so it's like I think that was the enlightening part about it. Like if I could summarize it quickly, it's like every single object, piece of clothing, door hinge, doorknob, key on your keyboard, like the button that clicks on your your car with like your heat, and then like the knob that turns, and like how it feels so good when it turns because it has that little bit of
plastic piece on the end of your shoelace.
Yeah, the plastic piece on the end of your shoelace, like that like little resistance, but like smooth resistance that like a knob has on a radio, and like you have this like sense of like, ooh, like that knob's satisfying to turn, and like that one isn't, and it's like that all comes from like this like fucking obsessed dude that sat there and thought about how to make a knob turn smoothly. All right.
It's true.
And like a lot of people may hear that and be like, who the fuck do I care? To me, that shit fascinates me day in and day fucking out. Day out. I can look at this cracks on a sidewalk and be like, why is it a fucking half-inch bevel?
Right.
Who decided
that they had to be like 2 foot by?
Right. Why is it this design? Like I cannot stop. And like let me tell you, that is the artist's mind at least. I can at least guarantee you that if you delve into the world of figuring out how things are designed, why things are aesthetic, you will find that there is a thought of design behind every little freaking asset of your life. And it's like it's almost become a disturbance in my own conscious like field where I'm like, I can't walk through the day without being like, oh, you know, what's that? Like, oh, is that a half-inch bevel on that like door for, you know, trim pattern? Like just like nonstop. And I'm just like picturing the guy in like the factory with the router, just like doing 100 doors a day, and then just like getting spray painted by this other guy, like nonstop. It's just like I would equate it to musician brain, where like you hear like musician brain. Here's an example of musician brain. Ready? You're walking through the woods. There's nothing man-made around you. You left your cell phone at home on airplane mode. Walking through the woods. A water drop falls from the tree and lands on a stick and goes, doo-goo-doo-goo-doo-goo. That's all you need. Second, your brain is just going, doo-goo-doo-goo-doo-goo. Next thing you know, your next favorite, your song's stuck in your head. You're superimposing that polyrhythm over your favorite song and singing it. Like, it's a curse. I'm telling you. Believe it or not, it's a real thing.
It happens with me at the copier all the time. The like rhythm of the copier.
Rhythm of the copier, exactly.
Yep, I'll be like.
Exactly. Exactly.
For no reason. And singing.
Exactly. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard a bird chirp outside the song I'm listening, and it's in key, diatonically, and I'm just like, wow. You know, I am not the human is not the creator of music. And like, if you start there and you didn't have the rant before that, it sounds woo, right? But like, it makes more sense when you like spend an hour to lead up to it. It's like, yeah, we're part of it all, man. Fucking yeah, all one, dude. Overthinking it, man. I don't know. Don't worry about copying your damn anime characters. That's the moral of the story. Your anime characters aren't damned. They're beautiful.
Everybody be nice.
But let people know when they're being mean, too.
Yes.
Be nice, but let people know when they're being mean.
Everybody be nice. Let's really doing what you want. Who doesn't? You're like, hey, you're being an ass.
Yeah. I know this has like been a philosophical rant stream, draw 3 brushstrokes, but you know what? I mean, like, start your own channel, start streaming, and try to finish your art on stream. You'll see what I mean, right? Jesus Christ. So, I'm already too zoomed in. I want to draw these lamps from like here. Control 0 is the hotkey of my life. Oh, another great feature I didn't describe that no one probably cares about because it's a nerdy aspect to like screen recording. But the screen record feature, if you're a Clip Studio EX user, doesn't matter. Like if I'm doing this, oh it's tiny, oh I'm gonna move it over here, and do this, it doesn't matter. Keeps it exactly the same. The screen recording is perfect. It just keeps it as if the canvas never moved. That's amazing, because let me tell you, when you're trying to screen record, you have to keep in mind like, oh, I'm gonna go over to the browser and like, oh, like, hey guys, check out the website, check out the discount code, and then like when I'm editing that shit later, you know how many minutes of my life get sacrificed
Several.
to cutting out those little moments where I go over to a browser clip, where instead I just like remove that worry from my head. It's like I have a video editor working for me that's like, don't worry man, move the canvas around anywhere you want and it's fine. It's a beautiful thing. Buy Clip Studio EX, sponsor me, let's go. Replacer art time. Replacer art time? Oh, so sorry, you can see it on screen, it says replacer, so that means like that should have been an emoji. That's been happening for like the last 10 streams and I have zero clue why, so I don't know how to fix it. Art time indeed, Rebellious Mew. Rebellious Mew is the most fearless art sharer in the world, and she deserves a Medal of Honor. You share more art in the Discord than I have ever seen, and it's not to compare to anyone else, I'm just saying like I watch you share your art and I'm like, damn, I have something to learn from Rebellious Mew. Like I gotta share my art like more too. I get all caught up on like, you know, oh it's not done, it's not the final product, like people aren't gonna understand, man, because it's not like there.
Incomplete insecurity.
No, it's just like I'm like admitting to my humility. Like I can't tell you how many times I've
And
seen.
you're admitting to incomplete insecurity.
Exactly, and like I can't tell you how many times I've seen Mew like in the Discord like sharing her like her most recent drawing, and I'm just like, I want to share my most recent drawing, but like I'm still like less insecure. I'm still less secure than Mew is
Yeah.
to like share it, you know. So like, thank you, Mew. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, believe it or not, you inspire me in like a weird way to be like, stop caring so much. So I hope you know that. And we're gonna add some little water ripples around this lamppost on that note with the oil brush on a vertical brush setting. Isn't that amazing? I don't expect any of you to know what that means. Unless you're a fluent ClipEX user.
Just a flippant joke.
No, but seriously, I get questions all the time. Photoshop or ClipEX? ClipEX all day. If you want the fancies, Photoshop. If you want that like buttery drawing experience, ClipEX. Like day in and day out. Like IV into my arm with ClipEX. Like the best. You gotta post it, don't worry about the haters. It's a growing process. It's a dark thing here. Thanks, Mew. I need that. Learning from Mew. Mew is the sage.
Amen.
Amen, Mew. The sage of Discord. The
Great stuff.
the life force of Discord.
Literally.
Literally. Mew, you are a legend. I hope you know that. Like, as long as Planet Jokum exists, you are the legend. The champion of art sharing. Making everyone look bad.
Putting in the work. For real.
Seriously, man, you're putting in the work. Like, you draw more humans and practice more humans than I do in a year, in 1 week. And you need to know that. I probably can't draw humans much better than you. Sure, I could put 17 references in front of me and make it happen, but... Exactly. So, you know, who's right? And watch, like, is this cheating? What I'm doing right here? Ready? Flip. vertical, and then we just use the computer to do this.
Or that just figuring out like one benefit of a particular medium.
I would consider
Because
digital medium.
Every medium has its benefits.
Here's where we draw the line. AI. Why? One example. Midjourney. It's trained off of a data collection package called Lion something. It's like Lion dash something 5B or something, which is a big vault of billions and billions and trillions of files and pictures off of the internet, trained off of actual other artists. So it's not the same. So if you were to type in make a nuke going off at Disney and Jokum Planet Jokum style, and it came up with something similar than this, it is literally stealing from me, and that is where I will draw the line. And this is where I will be admittedly on a team, because now it is me versus an army of coders and AI developers in which believe that it is fair use, because what they do is they give the same argument that I just defended, which is AI isn't copying, it's just using other art just as an artist would to interpret and then make its own version. And here is the battle of the ages, right? Like, this is something that's being battled in court actively as I say this, and there's universities creating programs battling against this. There's actually something called Glaze and Nightshade, and you can use Glaze and Nightshade to, in essence, poison the artwork that you upload, so that if AI tries to steal it, it will fuck up the model that it uses to make and copy your style. So basically what it does is it puts very microscopic little elements in your drawing that like fuck up the AI when it tries to steal it. So there's a big battle right now between artists and AI. And so I'm on the side of like, I think it needs to remain human. Like, they're correct in the essence that if, like, you know, the AI isn't copying Van Gogh's style exactly, but like, I would argue that like a human copying something is different from a robot copying something, because I don't truly believe that a human can copy something exactly.
No, because we have too many biases.
Exactly. Like, I feel like because of our inherent lenses and our experiences and the way that we are predispositionally, we are doomed to never copy something exactly.
Yep.
And through that, and because like the thing is, like, a robot can literally copy something exactly. It can take the information of the binary code, it can take the information of the pixel and the color code and the color hue and the color saturation and value, and it can literally copy it. That's very different to me than someone looking at a piece of artwork, opening up whatever medium they decided to use to copy it, and then copying it. Very different. Very different. And I don't expect someone to see that difference just by like opening up this argument on day one without any research. It definitely takes understanding how AI works, how it generates its pictures, what data set it's being pulled from. And I would suggest you go watch Stephen Zapata, I can't remember his last name, but he has been a warrior on the forefront of battling against the AI movement. Very rightly so. But yeah, anyway. Again, a human is doomed to its biases, and through that, I don't think any human could genuinely copy something exact as a robot. And because of that, you studying another person's art and making it into your own is more wrong, in my opinion, than a robot copying its exact metadata, in which helps you display it on the screen, if that makes sense.
Can I share something kind of silly?
Yeah.
all of that made me think about like when I took art classes as a kid, like elementary to middle school, maybe even early high school, like 6th to 10th grade probably. Our teacher would do this thing where we'd get into an artist study. So it was like Michelangelo who did the like Sistine Chapel, like the ceiling work. She would do like this whole thing, and we would learn about him and his family and where they came from and like where they grew up and whatever. And then we would do an artist study where she'd be like, here was his style, here's what he did, and now we're gonna recreate it. And she had us lay on our backs on the floor, and she put up paper on the bottoms of the tables in the classroom. We had to paint on the ceiling.
That's a great way to...
It was so fun, I'll never forget.
That really is a great way to put it. That's a beautiful way to do it.
I loved it.
And I think that demonstrates, you know, so well, like, how circumstances change during a creation of art. Ginger Zach, what's up, brother? That's wicked cool, man. Thank you so much. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you here. I'm gonna catch up on your comment, Mew. Yeah, but I do need to challenge myself with architecture. AI is not creative. Well, see, and this is where like the AI like enthusiast will step in and be like, yes, but like the actual definition of like creative means something like so. It's creative literally, but when you try to compare it to the amount of filters I think a human consciousness goes through before it creates something, it's uncomparable. Because AI is literally going, okay, he wants this style of this artist. He wants it to look like this. He wants it to have moody lighting. Okay, I need to find 17 things with moody lighting, 17 things with this artist. And it's like literally taking it. And it's like with a human, you have how you were brought up. You have your feelings. You have what medium you like the most. You have how you interpret things. Like there's so many different...
Your bias.
Yeah, like you have so many different layers that a human has compared to like the 3 things that like AI uses to like create an image. Wow, that's like cool, man. I want it as a poster on my wall. Well then, Ginger Zach, here. I will give you a chance to get it for free. I am going to do the work for you right now. So there was 2 posts that happened on my Facebook page, and feel free to go follow that if you enjoy my content. To where I had people offer up ideas for how to destroy Disney. And if you simply are a commenter in that section, you will be entered in to win a free print of it when it is complete. So I would love for you to be in the raffle. I'm gonna go to my browser scene here so you can see the work I'm doing to help you get into this entry here. I don't know if you have Facebook. If you don't worry about it. You don't gotta do all that work to make an account or whatever. I understand that some people aren't there. I'm trying to find the post here. Okay, here we go. If you had to pick a place for me to paint an abandoned post in a post-apocalyptic world. Okay, so right here it is. How do I make this? Oh no, that's annoying, huh? So basically, there'll be, because this is painted in oil brush digital, if I can remember correctly, there will be 4 different sizes of it that you'll have to choose from as a print. So I'll show you right now. I got my buddies here, Yeti, the Magnetic Cow, and Morris. So if you go to my website here, we go to the print section. This is where all paintings end up in a few different sizes. Depending on what ratio they are, you know, like if I use the canvas that's 12 by 18, that's gonna limit me from other sizes. So I kind of I flex to that, but if you see here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sizes for this one. So stay tuned, recommend, follow, subscribe, and like when you see this painting done, it will be on the website pretty much the day of or day after, available in 4 to 5 different sizes. And you can see it's not that bad. Like the first size of Emma's yard is $16.99, and that's shipping and taxes included. And if it gets damaged, you get your money back. So the prices you see are the prices you pay. We don't have a discount code today, but often you hop in stream, there'll be a discount code too. So, for example, I had someone buy this one recently. They got the 16 by 24, and that was $103.99, which, in my opinion, is more than reasonable for that size when I see what others are selling for. And you know, if you go really small, $32, everything included. So. It's all up to you. You know, you go 20 by 30. It's gonna be 142, but you know, take a tape measure to your wall. 20 by 30 is huge. So, and I have done so much math and tweaking with the markups where it's like, you know, we're both happy. You're paying a good price. I'm making a little something. The company who prints my prints for me is happy. We're all happy. So, hopefully that helps. Real quick, I'm gonna finish my thought process here. I gotta go find the post. I was trying to figure out how to make it so I can give you the direct link to this post. There's a way to do it. I think I just gotta click share and then copy link. This is not the ideal way I'm gonna do this in the future, by the way. This was a freak thing where I decided anyone who contributed will have a chance to win it. And because you like it, I really, really want you to have a chance to have a free print. It's when I get down to the text post here. So here. It doesn't let me copy the link, huh? Maybe I can share this one. I'm trying for you, man. No, not 20 by 30 feet. 20 by 30 inches. 20 by 30 feet would be insane. Insano. In the braino.
Insane in the braino.
Oh, weird. Okay. Sorry. 1 second. Where is it? It's this one. So you only end up voting on Disney. Yep. Damn. It's almost like if you were there to see it, like, kind of thing. Alright. So, if you care enough to, go to my Facebook, Planet Jokum, at Planet Jokum. And if you find this post here, comment on it, and you will be entered for a free print. And this will not be done like this in the future. I'm gonna find a better way. And it's due to entering in people that weren't around when it happened. More of a challenge. Where is it? This one. Oh, here we go. Here, I'm gonna send it in chat right now. See if that link. I just sent you a. Your prices are great, especially for the fabulous art you produce, and your prints are the best quality. Thank you so much, Steph. I appreciate that. Steph, by the way, guys, she's had multiple commission works from me, and she's also ordered multiple prints. And from what I've seen, they all come out great. I've also ordered the prints myself, and they come out great. So, and again, if anything comes in damaged and you're not happy with the quality, instant money back without hesitation. Did that bring you to the post? Perfect. Hell yeah, just comment there with an idea or just say hey at this point. because I'm just gonna, like, at this point I'm just gonna go through the comments and just pick everyone's names, put them in a random name picker generator, and we're gonna pick the winner when this drawing's done. And I will be sending a bigger, I'm not gonna be sending you the biggest size for free, but you're gonna get a pretty nice size. So I recommend you enter there, telling your friends that would like be interested. And yeah, I hope that wasn't too much of a sidestep, but I just want people to be aware of that giveaway. Again, I need to figure out a better, there's so many ways to control that shit. It's like Twitch has stuff, Discord, I'd say Discord's probably the best, but then it's like I lose out on like the random organic audience, because then you have to like get them in the Discord and stuff. So I'm like, I'm trying to think like, how do I do it right? Because, you know, every platform's competing and they're like, oh, we have polls. No, we have polls. We have the poll feature. So I don't know. If I mean, I'm honestly even open to suggestions. Any streamers in the crowd tonight, if you get a good way that you like to, how do I say it? Do votes, polls, get the opinions of your audience. I would love a very nice streamlined way to do that. I've tried it a few different ways. I guess the least sloppiest way so far has been Discord. No, I mean, honestly, just give you a genuine idea. I mean, we've already decided, right? Like, you're looking at a nuclear explosion and a flood, but like the whole point, like, just to back up, like, was anyone at that time that was like, yo, here's a cool idea to, like, here's how you should blow up Disney, was just automatically entered in for a print. And like, but like, I don't want to exclude anyone else that comes in and that's like, I love this. So like, your comment is obviously irrelevant if you give an idea at this point, because like the painting's pretty set in stone, but like, give an idea anyway. Like, here's another thing. Ready? Let me bring here. So in Discord, I'm gonna send the Discord link. So I just sent you the Discord link. My chat bot should do. If you join in as a member, there's a chat right here called prompt list ideas. So any member, regardless of your tier, is welcome to just enter in any idea here. We even have a pinned link in Google Docs here, where we have ideas that have been building up, and we've painted some of these already. Lots of them already. Up to, I think it's like around 1920 we've done. Possibly even more, I'm miscounting. The floating market with boats tethered to gigantic ancient trees. A world where the horizon curves upward, forming a cylinder. A tundra with massive, perfectly spherical ice boulders. Obviously, these are favoring me in landscape ideas. I'm open to hard shit, like, because I'm trying to push myself as an artist. So if you're like 17 ninjas fighting with lightsabers, like, I'm open to it. So like, don't feel like it has to be just landscape. But this is like, I'm trying to open what I paint up to the community. Like, I want y'all to be involved, and a lot of fun has happened from this. So like, if I go to my website and go back to so we've had 2 seasons now, kind of like maybe 2.5 seasons of like drawing of the day, I'd call it at first, to where y'all decided what I drew. So if I scroll down here, here was the last series. You know, ghost ship, giant snail with a city on its back, mangrove forest, and these were all just voted by you guys.
Came out crazy.
Moss giants, you know, skulking about amongst the mountains, forest library, and I can't even remember the exact prompts at this point. One I do know is exact though. So this is one that's exact. It was a paranormal. It was like paranormal wraith invasion on a city or something. So here's an example where like I had to draw humans running away in action poses. It was very difficult. So like, I'm willing to stretch my boundaries. The other one, this one was a very specific, by Kate, the one and only Kate. Thank you, Kate. It was like terraces, like launch pads, like alien life forms. It was something. But anyway, feel free to join in on that fun. Enter in. Like, literally, you could wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., 3 in the morning. Oh my god, I need to enter an idea into Planet Jokum's Discord. Holy fuck. Like, could literally be anything you want. Could be the craziest dream you had. So I'm always looking for ideas. I live in Arizona and I'm from Washington, so I can think of some crazy ideas to do with nature blending. Yes, I paused at the word blending because I love that shit. As much as I love like studying good old plain landscapes, like the more like giant sandworms and like black holes are in the picture, the better. So if you know what I mean by that, then you know what I mean. So yeah, like one of the ideas for this Disney thing, like honestly, when I mentioned it, I feel like I'm bitching out, but like it's just because like whatever, this is where it went. Was like someone was like, "Yo, the particle collider fucked up and it opened up many black holes everywhere, and like everything's getting sucked into like different realities." And I like,
You need to paint that book I just read.
yeah, and like I almost need to like save that. I like that's such a good idea that it transcends like it being in the context of like Disney apocalypse. You know what I mean? Cause like that shit's crazy. Like think about it. Like I could just like you know, like make a little black hole here. You know, and then like I could just picture this whole like fucking castle. Like twisting into it or some shit with the right like transform. I'm just like being silly, but no, I need mesh. Where's my mesh transform, buddy? There it is. Like this is super crude, but like just to give you what I was picturing in my head in the most rough way possible, like some shit like this, right? Now imagine there's like black holes opened up everywhere. You know what I mean? Like you could picture that same idea with the black holes like somewhere else fucking some other shit up, and it would be like just as badass. So like I like don't hold back the ideas. Like I just went with the nuke in this one because I was just feeling it. Like sometimes it's selfish, sometimes it's like, you know, I need to like relearn how to draw a nuke cloud, and like we're just gonna go there. But yeah, because you could do different designs with each black hole from different themes around the park. Exactly. And we could do Universal Studios, like especially like I vote for things that are like super recognizable, like Universal Studios globe, you know, with the thing around it, or like, you know, like Kirsten said the other day, the Dumbo ride, because that like OG rides, you know, like rides that haven't been updated in the last 10 years that are still there since like OG Disney. I do a lot of mushies. So I'll come up with some crazy ideas. Dude, hell yeah. Did you join the Discord? Did you do that? Did that work? Did that link work okay? Because like Discord is like where you'll hear like, oh fuck, I crashed, or like, yo, I'm live right now. First to know anything, discounts, anything. Also, like this is something I don't heavily promote because like I am aiming someday to have a better tier system offloaded off Twitch, but right now if you're a tier 1, 2, or 3 subscriber on Twitch, you'll get a custom permanent discount code off my website. I think it's tier 1 5% all the time, tier 2 10% all the time, tier 3 15% all the time. I do a lot of mushies, indeed did. Yes. What's your name? In the is it like the G ... Is this you right here? Big booty Latina? Are you the big booty Latina? I don't want to mislabel. I want to make sure you know. I don't recognize that one. That's gotta be you, right? You gotta be the big booty Latina. Yep, you are the big booty Latina. I knew it. Welcome. Big peaches are welcome. All right. So there's literally a carbon copy pasted 4 of these lampposts, and then the other ones they decided to be Disney about it and make an entirely different design. So Oops. That's the one downfall of digital drawing, is you just like breathe wrong and press the wrong hotkey and shit just malfunctions. Okay. I'm gonna let each reflection be custom, but like I said, these are man-made, so there's no use when we have factory machinery to hand make them from straw and rock again. I didn't outline that how I wanted. Here's what I would say is the time to zoom in. And now it makes me want to paint it out a little more, which won't make a difference. And the problem is they don't actually. I have to paint the water underneath it here. Okay, I think Hayes right. You need a Dumbo in the water. If only the trunk shows, that is iconic Disney. So yes, and so I just need to invite you into my thought process first, and this will help you decide on anything you want to add. So you need to think about anything you want to add through the medium of a nuclear explosion and a flood. And so I had this conversation the other day, and I was like, so what is near the castle? And what I learned is that it's only gift shops. So like technically, for something a quarter a mile away to be in front of the castle, the only way to make sense, right, is like that it got blown there, it got picked up by a tornado, it was flooded there. So like I guess like the flood could bring a lot of shit, right? So I'm trying to, like, I don't personally know where the Dumbo ride is, like, and how far I would need to travel to make it in front of the castle, but just keep that in mind. Because I honestly think that would add to the story a lot. Like, if we, like, you know, it's like continuity. Like in a movie when, like, the scene changes and they have, like, a different shirt suddenly. It's, like, jarring, right? I'm always over ambitious. I think I'm gonna finish this shit on stream and I don't. It's turned into one of those paintings, you know? You can't just draw the destruction at Disney. You gotta, like, send it, you know? Lasso tool is your friend. Then you can pick this and subtract if you mess up your selection. I don't care, it's a perfect shape. So I'm gonna copy this 3 times. And we should be able to drag them over. I'm gonna worry about rendering them and to feel less plopped. That's where the time comes in. At Disneyland, California, the Dumbo ride is right behind the castle. Like, that was the first ride after the carousel when you walk through the castle. Really? Okay. Well, then it would make more sense. See, this is why I need y'all to, like, educate me on, like, the placements at Disney. Because, yeah, for that reason. So then it would make perfect sense for the Dumbo thing. And then, of course, you know, we've had the discussion where, like, you add too much, it gets too busy. So I would say there's one more, the square footage, there's enough square footage for one more. And, we'll make it Dumbo. I guess how should Dumbo be laying in the water? I actually looked up some photo references of the Dumbo ride earlier.
Continuity check.
Yes.
So, are you going for California or Florida?
So, To be honest with you, Stephanie, I'm going with Florida. Kirsten brought up a good point. She said
If
continuity.
you're talking about World, Disney World in Florida.
Yeah, like where Universal Studios.
Disneyland is in California.
Right.
It's a different park, and they have some things that are the same and some are not.
Right.
So.
So all right. So to be fair, she's right. Most of my references have come from Disney World in Florida. So does anyone know? Like, could you all do you know where Dumbo Ride is relative to the castle in Disney World? Yeah, there's a bunch of Disney maps. Gotcha. That's a good point. You know what? We could look up a Disney map. That actually would probably help a lot. Let's see. Make sure I don't elbow my apple juice onto the ground. Disney World map. So I have a photo reference program here. Help make it bigger. So, so the castle, is this Disney? This is Disney World in Florida. Okay, cool. Wow. I've never actually looked at this. This is enlightening. Okay. So, literally everything is below the castle. So, like, the story could be that a giant tidal wave came up north from south. So, the Antarctica had a giant chunk break off of it and smash to the ocean, and it caused that wave. Because for this to make sense, wait, I paused because I don't actually know the compass position of this castle. I don't know if this is facing, so like what I'm trying to say, I don't know if this very bottom node here is like going towards Miami. So that's like one thing I don't know. But okay, here's the globe. So this is the other very iconic thing. The golf ball thingy. Giant golf ball globe thing. Epcot, yes. That was the other candidate for the thing that would be floating in front of the castle. I didn't realize they have a whole fucking lake in front of it too. Like, this makes even more sense. Like, it was just a happy accident that I decided flood. Because, like, the first thing to be hit by the flood would be the castle, due to, like, literally 2 lakes right next to it. This is too low resolution, though, to see where Dumbo is. I want to see where Dumbo is. Let's see if this is high resolution enough. Woody's lunchbox. Oh my god, Disney's probably a whole new world. Star Wars, of course. This is events. Wait, are these just events? Yeah. This isn't like a thing. Google Maps. Good point. Maybe I could just even type in like I could probably just type in like my R isn't working. Dumbo the flying elephant. Wow, they literally have a pin for it. Okay, so what's up? Need help? 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. I had to help with something quick. What's the castle called? University? Disney has a university? Maybe satellite will help me. I'm so like not versed. Oh, here we go. Thunder Mountain. That's familiar to me. Oh, right here. Okay. So a wave would have to come in from right here this way. So it's pretty close. It's not like it's close enough to where if it was a ridiculous astronomical tidal wave, it would. What's the Mad Tea Party? Oh my god. I wonder like how old these are. Google Maps, man. Google Maps is a wormhole. You can get lost in that shit. You guys ever see like the posts of like the crazy shit people find on Google Maps? Definitely a wormhole. All right. I just wanted to justify that, like, Dumbo ride in a flood could show up, and not just because Dumbo is at Disney. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, that's up for you to interpret. Like, was the wave first? The wave must have been first, right? Because if you're seeing the nuclear blast at this point, the wave was first. Hands down. I guess that's kind of cool that like the teacup maybe. Maybe the teacup like hit up against it. That's where its final resting place. Teacup questions? Huh? What's up? I was just saying like maybe it could like lean into the pole. Like it kind of crashed into the pole, you know what I mean? Actually, it probably should be a little more left. Somewhere over here. And like, you know, No cheating. Save the time. If you're just trying to get an idea, don't beat yourself up. Just let it use the tools. I was just saying, like, copy and paste, you know? In a digital world, if you drew the lamppost, there's no need to spend hours drawing it all over again unless you want to. Using the opacity slider to give it that nice effect. Now, this one would probably be somewhere around here. And not sure which one this one is. There we go. Be a little bit smaller because we want it to be in perspective. And the horizon's about here. So somewhere around there. And honestly, at this point, I'm gonna merge them. Pretty happy with that. And take, wait, actually, oops. Duplicate the smaller one first. And, look at my reference photo here of actual Disney courtyard. Okay, and they're about the height of Walt Disney himself. So actually, it would be more like there. And duplicate that. And just find which one is the, there we go. That's good enough for me. And we can zoom into our, oops. Combine those. Zoom into the teacup here. And you know, you can see where the hours are created. And you know, with these things, there's 9 million different ways to get to the same result. So keep that in mind when using these programs. Don't get caught up on, oh, I gotta use this tool, I gotta use that tool. They have 900 ways to get the same result. Find what tool. I know it always kind of goes back to like being joyful and woo, but like seriously, just like find what tool feels the best and gives you the most joy. Because ultimately, if you can figure out how to enjoy it, you will paint more, thus get better, and enjoy it more overall. Find a way to make it fun for yourself. Seriously. Like, it reminds me of like practicing scales on guitar. Learn how to improvise. I would have went mad if I just like played that scale up and down. No different variation or different context. I feel like a broken record, but it's so important to just play. Let the rules guide you, but don't let them dictate ultimately the main focus of the artwork. I kind of like how that light post ended up right behind that teacup. To be honest, these would be a bit smaller. Thank you so much. But anyway, on that note, dinner's ready, so I gotta go. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, have learned something at least. Maybe had something to take with you. Some food for thought. Ginger, Zach, nice to meet you, brother. I'm so glad that you hopped in. And thank you for going to find that Facebook post to enter in for the print. I hope you win. I hope everybody wins, which isn't possible. So, you know, I just hope that you win. Like, I hope you win too, Stephanie. Equally as Zach. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. This is one of those paintings that I want to do right, and like when I step back from it, I feel like it's done, and I always let that dictate how long things take. But have a good evening, Mew. Thanks for hopping in, and see you next time.